Hello, everyone. Let's talk about graded slabs. What my thoughts are on grading, why I don't, in general, grade my cards, and then talk about, when you should grade, why you should grade, and kind of my thought process on grading. Um, I have a stack of cards here. These are all the graded size slabs that I own. You'll see it's not a very big stack. I've purchased all my slabs that I own. I've never sent a card off to grade. Um, so let's start with why and when or why you should grade your cards. Okay. Now it doesn't mean that I'm completely against grading because grading does have some very important purposes for your collection. Why you should grade your cards, and I think if you're gonna sell your cards, grade them. Okay. If you want to have the case and protect your cards in such a manner, I mean, grading your card isn't going to get any better over time, right? If you want to put them in slabs, grade them, you know, by all means, right? Um, if I have a raw card out, let's say, I don't know, something like this. This was a Gem Mint 10. You know, something, it's the card condition is not going to get any better, right? There's no way to improve the condition of your cards in a legitimate manner. So, by all means, if you like to have them organized, grading also, if you look at a slab, it has the name of the card, what set, the year, subgrades, everything is on here. Nice little package that tells you what the grade of the card is, right? So yeah, you know what? Grade the cards if you want them to have, if you like the slabs, if you're going to sell your cards, if you're planning on trading your cards, yeah, get them graded, Most people won't be able to distinguish, between 8, 9, and 10. Heck, if we could, then, we wouldn't need graders. Or, on the flip side, everything we sent into graders would grade, what we expect it to. But if you watch enough videos on grading, you'll know how subjective grading is. You'll know how hard it is to get that 10. And a lot of the times when folks send their cards off with the expectation of getting a 9 or 10, you know that they don't come back as often as they would like as a 10, right? So there are legitimate reasons to get your cards graded. And yeah, just to recap, one, if you like the slabs, the look of the slabs, and you want to get your cards into a slab, yeah, get them graded. And then two, if you're going to be trading the card or selling the card and it's a high-end card, you want to determine what the graded card grades out as, then yeah, by all means, get that card graded so it'll be easier to negotiate with a, either a trade partner or somebody, a potential buyer for your card. But yeah, let me tell you why I don't grade my cards. I own probably about 250,000 cards when you count Magic cards and basketball cards and baseball cards, my entire collection. So I have a massive collection. Um, the first reason why I'm not grading my cards is because I have no intention of trading them at this time. If I were to be more active in trading my cards or to be selling my cards, then yeah, you know what? Certain cards would be worth grading. The second reason why I don't grade my cards is because I don't think there's a whole lot of value in grading modern cards, ultra modern cards. And by modern and ultra modern, I would say anything printed after 93 or so. Uh, any card set before that, you know, if you watch openings, any kind of vintage openings, you'll just know, cards even fresh out of the pack did not come in, near mint to mint condition like they do nowadays. If you open up a pack of cards Any random pack of cards. Out of a pack of cards here, something like this, something like Tops. Most of the cards you're going to pull are going to be, near mint to mint. And there's not a whole lot of differentiation between near mint card and a gem mint card. That's what would be 8 to 10 in the PSA grading scale. So, if I can't tell the difference, I don't see the reason why the grading is. And it shows in the population report for cards, right? The cards in the last 2 or 3 years that were graded the most, there's certain ones that stand out, something like, Luis Robert Tops. Even a gem mint to that card, there's thousands of them out there. And gem mint, I don't think it carries a whole lot of premium. And the price you're paying to grade the card itself is going to cost you. But yeah, these are just, the only slabs I have are ones that I've purchased or have acquired by trading. So I do have a few nice ones, something like this, even a card that would be worth, I don't know, a couple $100 to $300. What's the premium of a 10 on this versus, a 9.9 or 9.5? Unless it's a very significant card, I just don't think there's a premium on the card itself, or, for anything, like even let's take Ken Griffey Jr.'s rookie card. There is a premium for a 10, but there's a lot of 10s out there, so, I view that as very volatile. But yeah, just going back to why you don't grade, I don't believe it's worth it to grade modern cards. Besides just the fact that I don't think there's a whole lot of rarity in them, is that the cost of grading itself can get very expensive. Okay, I think there was a point for 2 or 3 years when grading a cards absolutely made sense. But I've mentioned this before. The last couple years, from the late end of 2019 up until now, I view as a complete, almost a fluke in the sports card market. I'll have another video on reference points and pricing your cards themselves, but I think we need to go back to a lot of the older logic that applied to the hobby before the big pandemic boom and things returning back to normal. And there really was no point in grading your cards unless they were fairly valuable cards, something that isn't in the pop report. If you have something that might be, there might only be 1 or 2 in Gem Mint 10, and it's a fairly desirable card that people would want, then yeah, absolutely. I think there are cards that are worth grading. But I wouldn't grade anything that's super high in the pop report. Cards like these, cards like Lucas Silvers, Zion Silvers, there's the Jaw Silvers or Prisms. There's thousands of those cards in the pop report. So, and if you walk through a convention hall or even your local card store, or if you're browsing eBay, there's tons of these cards that are graded mint or even Gem 10 that are available for purchase. It's not like those cards are very hard to find. Now, the value on those cards can go up and down depending on the performance of the player, absolutely. But I don't think it's worth paying whatever the bulk submission cost is to PSA these days to grade your cards. So, say for example, I take a graded card, and let's be fairly generous on this example, right? Let's say it goes from, a raw card you get for $30, and a Gem Mint 10 you can get $100 for that card. Say there's a 70 $70, like a 3x type of multiplier on that card, if you manage to get that Gem Mint 10. Now, every card you send off to submission, it's going to cost you $15, okay? And you're going to have to grade one of those. You're going to basically need 6 of that card. So you're going to need no, you're gonna wait. Let me think about this for a bit. Okay, basically every time you tell them you want to grade a card, it's gonna cost you $15 to grade that card. All right, so if you send 4 of those cards off, and they grade 9 or 8, basically any profit you can get off that card, you're losing the value of that card. Now, if it is a Gem Mint 10, if you can suss out the 10s and get them sent off and get them graded consistently, then I think you're going to be one of those rare collectors who, understands PSA, understands grading. And in that case, then, you know what? That's another reason why you would want to grade, is if you're good enough to be able to look at your cards and grade them out just as PSA would, or SGC or Beckett, then there's a possibility. But you know what? For the 99% of other collectors like myself, and even all the newcomers to the hobby itself, we're not going to be able to know what cards get graded consistently to get those Gem Mint 10s. And you just look at the pop report of these cards, right? Like, I don't know. I haven't looked at any specific ones, but for most of the ones I've seen, Gem Mint 10s are going to be, anywhere, a very small percentage of the submitted cards to any grading company. If you look at that pop report, right? Look at that pop report. There's going to be, I haven't seen a pop report where there are more Gem Mint 10s than there are Mint 9s or near Mint 8s. I'll put it that way, okay? And so yeah, you know what? On average, if you're not a professional level, you're not able to professionally look at your cards at that level and determine which cards you to send off to PSA to get that PSA 10, then I think for myself, if I were to send my cards off, I'm going to be losing a lot of money compared to somebody else who is more experienced at looking at their cards and sending them off to PSA. Otherwise, it's kind of a crapshoot, so to say. For me, it's always going to be raw cards, just because I think raw cards have they're not nearly as risky right now compared to a graded card. If I buy, just as you can make money in graded cards, you can just as easily lose money in graded cards, in my opinion, right? If you pick up a hot rookie and he's got that PSA 10 and you pay that premium for that PSA 10, unless he continues to trend upwards in his hobby value, then it's very going to be difficult to continue for that Gem Mint 10 to appreciate over time. And just as you've paid a premium on that Gem Mint 10, if that career trajectory goes down, you're basically magnifying your gains and losses on cards, on graded cards. So I prefer not to put myself out to that exposure. I prefer not to, like, if I just buy a raw Zion silver prism, what was that card? Anywhere from $300 to $1,000 more if graded. Zion's doing good now, but if you buy that card in Gem Mint 10 at the peak and that card goes down, then you're magnifying your losses versus buying a raw card and then that card going down in a similar manner. No one's gonna buy your Gem Mint 10s of players who are not extremely desirable in the hobby itself. So I'd be very cautious as far as grading and buying graded cards. Yes, they are. There are success stories. I'm not going to deny that. You know, certain cards you absolutely want to get graded. You know, Mike Trout rookie card, Mike Trout Tops update, um, Michael Jordan rookie cards. You know, vintage cards. I think vintage is where you would want to grade. If you have vintage cards, like anything pre 1980, absolutely get them graded if you have some nice ones, because vintage graded cards actually do matter. The grades actually do matter. You know, the difference between, I don't know, let's say a PSA 4 Hank Aaron rookie card versus like PSA 7. Absolutely massive price differences between every level of grade between, in the case of even 50s vintage cards, you know, PSA 1 to PSA 2 to PSA 3, which is basically poor to to good to very good, these very low end grades. Um, there are premiums on, you know, getting one grade up from those versus modern cards. I think most of us take care of the your cards, especially at the price point these cards are at right now, right? If you're buying a $500 box, you're pretty much going to be sleeving up every card. Um, if you value your collection at all. um, I don't know. Maybe I'm just different about that, but um, yeah, great vintage. Great if you like the slabs. Great if you're going to be trading or selling your cards consistently. Um, if you're just a collector, or if you're a new collector, um, I'll tell you, you know, don't grade cards that are very high in that pop report, because there's already a lot of them. They're not going to be. I think it's going to be difficult to get a premium on those cards. Don't grade anything after, I don't know, 2000. Um, unless the set is condition sensitive. And by that I mean if the set is known to be have manufacturing defects, like it's off centered, off cut, and you have a nice card, or if it has like black borders or something, or the whole card is black, or if the packaging was defective for that year or that product, and cards come out mangled, and you have a card that is um, difficult to find in that mint or near or mint or gem mint grade, then yeah, grade your cards. Don't grade anything under $30. Don't grade anything that won't have a premium over a non-graded card. Okay, we're not looking to turn like a $2 card into a $30 card with grading. I think that was possible for about 6 months in the hobby, and then after that, not possible. And historically has not been like that. Now you will find people who will just go out and buy. There are collectors. There are collectors out there who do go out and buy, specifically Gem Mint 10 slabs, and they're very collectible. I'm not going to deny that there's not a collectible market for that, but just with the big boom of how many cards are being graded these days, I think there's way more supply than, um, or yeah, there's way too much supply and not enough demand for those specific examples of, you know, turning these cards like a couple I saw something like, these early 90 Jordans, like I don't know, 89 hoops, 90 hoops, 90 Fleer, 91 Fleer, just to see those cards getting graded. Those are dollar card. That card was a dollar card for 25 or 30 years, and yeah, Yeah, the one that sticks out the most to me is that 8990 Fleer Jordan. Uh, and just to see that card and how many of those got graded and how many people bought that card for, I don't know, 80 bucks. It just blows my mind. I don't think that card, one, that card's not rare. Two, there's a ton of those slabs floating around out there now of that high grade. Um, and that card has historically just been, one, maybe a $3 card. Um, they're collectible now because it's been 30 years and, people have thrown them away, lost them over time. And over time, just as I said, your card's grades won't improve over time. The other thing is the supply of the card itself is not going to increase over time, right? They'll only go down. They only get lost to time, etc. So the condition's not going to get any better on them. So, you know, well, you can look back at this video, say 30 or 40 years from now, and a lot of what I say is going to be incorrect. But on the other hand, if you had to wait, 5, 10, 20, 40 years to realize gains on a lot of these cards, then, you have to question whether there's other things that um, you could be doing with that money in the meantime versus uh, doing it on something high risk like grading your cards and trying to flip them. So yeah, let's summarize. Don't grade your cards to flip. Don't grade your cards. Don't grade any modern cards. Don't grade any cards that are under the grading costs themselves. Do grade your cards if you are going to sell your collection. Do grade your cards if you like to have them in the slab. Um, and do grade your cards if you have vintage cards. Um, I'm pretty sure there's more. If I think of more about graded cards, then I'll do a follow-up video on this. But those are just my initial thoughts, just a little rant on graded cards. So, yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.